Weak website? It could be a superstar. We do A/B testing, personalisation, social proof, product recommendations, baseline analysis to bring your bottom line over the line. Visit webtrends-optimise.com or call 0333 444 5502 today.
Well, good morning still at the moment to all of you watching on the Sussex live stream for this Women's T20 between Sussex and Glamorgan. I'm Andrew Rayburn, and alongside me from just over the Severn Bridge is Nick Webb. Good morning still, as I say, Nick Webb. We are minutes away from midday.
Good morning, and pleasure to be joining you here on the Sussex County Cricket Club web stream for live coverage of both these matches, Sussex against Glamorgan, women's and men's.
So just say to you that if you are currently listening to us on the stream and then say, well, we're going out later, but we'll catch the commentary maybe on the BBC Sport website or app. At the moment, we are unable to bring you that due to a technical issue at Hove, which is being investigated. But we are able to bring you this commentary, which I hope you can hear. We should be fine for that. But it's at the moment we're unable to bring you commentary on the BBC Sport website or app. So if you can, stick with us.
And of course, you can listen back and watch back on YouTube later, should you be going out and have other commitments today.
Of course. So then, Sussex with a defeat at Lords, and then a win over Gloucestershire last Sunday, and Glamorgan with that just that one game so far, Nick, I believe.
Yeah, one game so far in the T20 Blast itself. A very poor batting performance at Middlesex last week, where they were bowled out for 77 and took it somehow to the penultimate ball, lost by 4 wickets. But they did have some success in the Counties Cup, where they won a couple of games, including that against Sussex earlier in the season, only to be beaten by the professional side Lancashire Thunder in the third round. So they've got a couple of T20 wins to their credit, and a couple of defeats overall, plus a friendly win over Wiltshire at Swindon as well last weekend. So Glamorgan won the toss and chose to bat first, and the opening batters are Daisy Jeans and Lauren Parfitt.
And you'll forgive me because I've been rushing around trying to help the technical issue, so I haven't. I've only just settled down in front of.
I'll go through the sides for you during the course of the over, if you like.
We'll do that.
But it's going to be a fairly quick over because it'll be bowled by the spinner Kiara Green.
Kiara Green, the captain, opening up from the C end, if you know your Hove, and Jeans will be facing. So it's going to be right arm around the wicket first of all, and it's on leg stump and no connection made. So yes, so that's Sussex team. A debut for Abby Norgrove, who has been signed on loan from Hampshire, England under-19s captain. We'll come on to that in a minute as Green comes in and bowls, and an attempted cut which is too close to her, and there's no run there back up the pitch. So Izzy Collis, Abby Norgrove, Nancy Harmon, Kiara Green, Jazz Wesley, Molly Adams, Eve O'Neill, Lottie Curling, Anna Buckle, Talitha Stanley, Indigo Gentry and Anna Lewis is the team.
Yeah, Lewis is 12th. They go through for a quick single. Ooh, that was seemed quite close.
So yes, so a few changes being made by Sussex. We'll come on to the Glamorgan team in a moment. Yes, that first run for Jane Parfitt now facing against Green.
It's the same cricketers the world over, a dodgy single to get off the mark.
always want to get off that goose egg, as they say. Now driven on the up, out into can't beat the inner field, no run there. There is a few high white clouds above Hove, blue sky peeking through, bit of sunshine as well as Green comes round the wicket and bowls, and again played up the pitch. Nice tight over this so far, just one from it, 5 deliveries, and we are now ticking over to 12 o'clock according to that scoreboard, so we must have started a bit early. As Green comes in round the wicket and bowls, and it beats the prod forward outside the off stump, and it goes through to the wicket keeper. So an excellent first over that from Kiara Green, the captain, leading by example. And yes, we have to add the first over at 12 o'clock. So nice swift start from the players and the umpires. Well played to them.
Indeed, the skipper Kiara Green leading from the front then for Sussex, directing the troops for this second over, and the Glamorgan side, Daisy Jeans and Lauren Parfitt at the wicket at the moment. Due next in is Emily Burke, one of their loanees from the Surrey Academy. Then Bethan Gammon, one of the Welsh stalwarts. B. Ellis from Gloucestershire. Gemma Porter from the Warwickshire Academy. As we're going to have Lottie Curling opening up from the Cromwell Road end with a bit of seam from the tall bowler coming down the slope. And bowls, that's outside off stump and knocked away by Jeans, and oh well, there's almost a mix-up there as these two batters having a few early nerves.
Yeah, Lottie Curling with the bowler, and she was through a run up, so she couldn't get back to help the throw towards the stumps at the non-striker's end.
Here comes Curling again, bowls outside off stump, a swish and a miss from Jeans. Well, it was asking for it, there was a bit of width there, and there's no outfielder in front of the wicket on the offside. But after last week's problems with the bat against Middlesex the only Tier 2 side to have beaten Glamorgan so far. Here's Curling then, bowls, and this time it is a more comfortable single for Jeans, pushing it into that gap on the offside. Glamorgan go to 2 without loss.
Yeah, there was definitely, I mean, Jeans, that previous attempt didn't really want to run, and sent her colleague back. So obviously we are only commentating for our stream viewers, so forgive us if we are automatically in radio mode, but we don't have to be at the moment, I suppose. But we will sort of keep you abreast of the field. And
that's a outside off stump and steered away by Parfitt, no run. Yeah, so Lauren Parfitt, an innings of 59 not outs in the T20 Cup match against Gloucestershire, and she also hit 72 not outs, did the skipper in the friendly win over Wiltshire, which Glamorgan had as a warm-up. As bowls, that's a nice little cut shot from Parfitt to get off the mark. Fielded at third, and they go through for just the single.
yeah, so the fielders out on the rope are at third man and at deep square leg. Everybody else inside the circle, of course, at this stage.
Nice little steer away on the leg side from Jeans to get her third single.
What was interesting on Friday, Nick, is that the in the men's game, just to say at the end of the over 4 without loss, the Somerset team were basically wearing the same colour, so the almost exact shade as the two umpires, which made life interesting at times.
Yeah, Somerset are a bit on the pink side, aren't they? Black and pink, and we're not talking about the Korean pop group.
There's a good reference for you.
Down with the kids.
Now, I'm wondering whether that extra sort of noise you can hear is on our effects mic, which is dangling out the window here at Hove. So the wind might be bumping it. I will take a look at it at some stage, but hopefully it's not too disturbing for you. You can still get the atmosphere of this game, as we're going to see some pace from Stanley now. Talitha Stanley, and her first ball is guided to mid-wicket for no run. Again, sorry, I'll keep lapsing into full radio mode, but you can see exactly what I'm commentating on, unless of course you've got the laptop on or something and you're busy doing something else.
Cooking Sunday lunch.
Yeah, 12 could be about the right time
for us.
as Stanley comes in now, and again can't find a gap in the field, Jeans. So again tight from Sussex. Talitha Stanley took 1 for 11 against Middlesex, but a little bit more expensive against Gloucestershire. 2 double headers that Sussex women have been involved in. Beaten by Middlesex, but defeated Gloucestershire. Stanley comes in and bowls, driven. And there's going to be another quick single, and they are determined to give their colleagues up in the dressing room, or in the dugout I should say maybe today, some heart palpitations.
Yes, tied again. Perfect. Reasonably comfortably home though.
Jeans was forward through the shot and immediately wanted the run, so she was definitely going to be safe. So, Stanley in again. Big call there. Definitely not a run. So the nominal cut-off is 1:15 up on the scoreboard, but we're definitely not going to be troubled by that, I wouldn't think, with the first over done before the start of the game.
Yes, you do tend to get a little bit more spin bowled on the women's game generally.
And Stanley, with her pace coming in, that's going to be another easy single, which they're able to milk at the moment. But it's not a lively start for Glamorgan. 6 without loss, coming towards the end of the 3rd over. Sussex struggled at Lords, 102 for 7 in their 20 overs. Izzy Collis top scoring with 29, and Middlesex home with just under 5 overs to spare. But a better performance at Hove against Gloucestershire. That one's driven nicely. It will be cut off by Jazz Wesley. So end of the 3rd over, and Glamorgan are 7 without loss. Jeans on 5, Parfitt on 2, and yeah, it's a solid if unspectacular start. Plenty of people with those blue Sharks garments on their heads.
Oh, thank you, sir. He must be listening as he put it on at that very precise moment.
Although that one's not quite. No.
Not quite fit big enough. No, he doesn't
back
like
in
it.
the bag. Back in the bag.
Yep, the old Hawaiian style. Well, garlands are out as well.
It does remind you of Hawaii, Hove, doesn't it?
Absolutely. As that's a nice drive into the offside by Jeans, but well stopped at cover. And Curling bowling her 2nd over. You never know in these power plays where sides are going to chop and change or go for bowling one player all the way through at one end and chopping and changing at the other.
I think that's Izzy Collis there with the fielding.
Tucked up Jeans, forced to push it back to the bowler. So this is a cautious start from Glamorgan, though, attempting to hit over the infield. And credit to the opening few overs from the women in blue and yellow. As I speak, it's Jeans just doing that thing, looking to hit over the infield, and that one will run away to the boundary. The boundary rope has been brought in quite a distance from that expected for the men's game by the look of it. And the first boundary for Glamorgan as they move up to 11 without loss.
Yeah, a shot of intent, and up the hill still, but yeah, had plenty of power in it to make it to the boundary. And you know, you do feel that as a bowling side though, you apply the pressure and you induce the shot.
Nicely up in the block hole from Curling. Jeans forced to just dig it back to the bowler. Daisy Jeans sort of half got going in the County Cup matches, 12, 35, 17. Like most of the team out cheaply last week. As that ends up by her feet. Taunton-born Daisy Jeans. And this Glamorgan side, while it does have a sprinkling of Welsh players, is very much taking on board the west of England as well. Niamh Holland, who top scored last week with 40 out of the 77, was on Somerset duty this weekend. Unable to find the gap again. And although Jean's got one over the top in that over, there's certainly no getting away for the Glamorgan batters at the moment. 11 after 4.
Yeah, it just loosened the pressure a little bit with that one boundary, but Sussex responding well, and they look sharp in the field, don't they? That's the other factor about this Sharks team. And beat Gloucestershire by 27 runs. They made 148 for 2 in their 20 over on that occasion, restricted Gloucestershire to 121 for 4. And we're going to see more spin, and there's an attempted throw there, but quick single, but yeah, Kiara Green back from the C end.
See this quite a lot, don't you? A bowler bowling one over and then being taken off and then coming back either later in the power play or swapping ends.
Yeah, of course, her decision as well, of course, being the skip. And it also, in this form of the game, it doesn't let batters settle into a rhythm. You know, if you've got pace on, pace off, spin, you know, you want to have the variations, especially early on, because then, as I say, if you can keep it tight in the power play, the pressure builds, and then the bigger shots have to be played, tumbling half stop. Yeah, the bigger shots have to be played, and that's when you start to induce the full shots and hope to take wickets. Sussex haven't taken any wickets so far, but they have kept it tight. 13 without loss, 4.3 overs bowled. So the two fielders out in the deep on the leg side at the moment.
Good shot for naught.
Yes, it's one of those, isn't it? You wish that you'd found the gap there. Indigo Gentry at doing the fielding there. And this one will be a single, but Jazz Wesley is down there. Indigo Gentry didn't play against Gloucestershire. Rachel King came in for her and scored 68 not out, but King not involved today.
Yeah, I'll make it 3 changes for Sussex. King, Lee and Doherty dropping out. Norgrove, Gentry and Buckle coming in.
And for Anna Buckle, it will be her first appearance in this competition this season, and Kiara Green took 2 for 19 against Gloucestershire, continuing with this round the wicket angle. Appeal, but high, I suspect, and can't quite see where it pitched either, but definitely in line, high, and probably going on to miss off stump.
It's not quite straightening enough, is it? Umpires today, Dean Daniels and Kelly Alcock.
Got to give them their dues. I was watching one of the games on television recently, and Ian Bishop was very quick to praise the umpire for a decision, because he said, well, we do criticise them when they have bad moments, and so it's very good to praise them when they have good ones, and so I was very pleased to hear him say that. Certain sports you wouldn't get that from commentators, would you, necessarily?
Mr. Daniels said, is it on live? And I explained, yes. I said, watch it back on YouTube, and said, I wouldn't listen though, in case we slag you off. So, nice little cut shot, run down by Parfitt to start the over from Stanley at the top end. Switching ends.
Yeah, the Cromwell Road end, which is down the hill, and with the temporary stands behind it. Of course, when outside of T20 season that has deck chairs. But the temporary stands are in place.
Just toe ending that one slightly. Jeans looking to force straight, but pushing it straight to mid-off, and there is no run. Vitality Blast League 2 South Group, the official title of this comp, in which Sussex won one, lost one. Glamorgan lost their opener. As Jeans pushes into the offside and takes on the cover fielder successfully.
Yeah, good tumbling stop. But good. What I like about teams out in the field early on is when they're all supporting each other, getting the claps in, and you hear the voices. Once you hear the voices, you know a team is feeling good about life.
Not sure whether that got any bat on it from Parfit. They've gone through for a single, but it is a leg by.
Yes, so this is the tier 2, as Nick was saying, of the women's T20 competition, and there is a separate finals day for the tier 2 teams. But early days in the competition, of course.
Oh, that's a lovely pickup from Jeans.
One bounce, I think.
Up towards the dugouts. Just the one bounce. Best shot of the day so far. Just sliding down leg from Stanley there, and hoiked away. It would have gone on to miss leg stump, so there was no danger for Jeans.
Talitha Stanley, probably the most economical of bowlers at Lords, 1 for 11 in her 2 overs, but went for 30 off of 4 against Gloucestershire.
And that one's sent back past her as well. There'll be a couple at least. Chased up the Cromwell Road end, and just beating the despairing dive of the fielder running back. So Jeans starting to time the ball nicely. Successive boundaries, and Glamorgan move up to 25 without loss after the power play 6.
Yeah, those 2 boundaries just sort of frustrating Sussex, I'd imagine, but giving Glamorgan a boost. It's like Eve O'Neill is coming on to bowl. So again, the 2 fielders out. Oh, of course there's 3 now, with the outs 4 now outside the power play, of course. And there's the first of them out at deep extra cover. Got Jazz Wesley at long on. There's also riders at deep mid wicket and deep backward square leg. O'Neill in. And the gap starting to be pierced now with the fielders out on the rope. Glamorgan were pleased, I suppose, that the squeeze was put on in the first few overs, but they'll be pleased to not have lost a wicket in the power play. Yeah, tip and run, and just keep that scoreboard ticking over. That will be the key now outside the power play, where gaps are easier to be found.
Yeah, looking at this Glamorgan lineup, they are a batter lighter than last week, which was slightly worrying since they were dismissed cheaply last week with Niamh Holland back with Somerset.
So part of a double header this match, of course. The men's match between the 2 teams starts at 4 o'clock, and we're expecting the weather to stay fair, so that will be fielded by Jazz Wesley. Single taken, so 29 without loss. Last ball of the 7th over coming up. Parfit facing this one, full toss. collected by Nancy Harmon. End of the over then, 30 without loss, off of 7.
I wonder if Glamorgan are just a little bit more restrained, having been shot out quickly last week, and knowing that things can turn pear-shaped, so they are reasonably reliant on their top order. Jeans, Parfitt, Burke at 3, Bethan Gammon at 4, long-standing stalwart in the Wales team, if you can be long-standing at the age of 24. Bialis as top score 77 this weekend. She's due in at 5. As we're going to see a change of seam bowler. Anna Buttle into the attack for the first time, so 5 different bowlers used by the time of the 8th over. And that's bowled up.
Tried the scoop.
Yes, that was not really giving herself time to have a look at the new bowler, Lauren Parfitt, so she's gone for 8. Sussex get the breakthrough. A little bit risky first up, and Parfitt paid the price. Flicked the top of leg stump as she tried to scoop over short fine.
Don't know if she got a little bit of bat on it. The ball did seem to deviate slightly, possibly, as it passed her. So, do you think that was, I mean, premeditated? Those shots often have to be, but I just wonder. I know, maybe it got something off the pitch. I'm not sure, but certainly there was a bit of movement. Anyway, I just wonder whether the fact that she'd been a little bit circumspect to this point, whether she thought now was the time to take things on.
Maybe. I mean, she may have faced Buckle in the Counties Cup match early in the season and thought she knew what Anna Buckle was about.
Yeah, but even so, first ball, great. You probably don't want to put the bowler into such a good mood either. You take a wicket with your first ball having come on. But anywho, it's.
The numberless batter is Emily Burke, born in Guildford, and on the books of Surrey Academy in Tier 1. But obviously it's policy to lend out the younger players who are not getting action in Tier 1.
Such a good system, I think, and I think it's helped players in the men's game as well. I mean, not sure the loan system has been in cricket for many years at all, is it? I'm not quite sure.
It certainly is an awful lot more frequent than it used to be.
Sussex, of course, Sussex men took Tom Alsop from Hampshire on a loan deal, which then they made permanent.
Caught and bowled.
Excellent return catch.
Just chipped straight back to the bowler. It's the height and the speed that Anna Buttle would have wanted, and she takes 2 in her first over as Bialis goes without scoring. 30 for 2, and Sussex, thanks to Buttle, making very good progress. Just looking at the replays there, it was around about waist height, and maybe just threw the shot a bit soon. Bialis didn't really go for the full-out aggressive drive, caught betwixt and between.
Yeah, it's a superb start this for Anna Buckle.
Bethan Gammon then, innings of 85 in the match against Wiltshire. 41 in the match between these two sides in the Counties Cup. That was temptingly wide for Gammon. She had to have a go at it, really. But she'll feel she's missed out there as it went through to Adams. So nice to see the clouds staying away after the rain has hit much of the UK earlier in the week. Driven by Gammon, not cleanly fielded at cover, but good enough to deter them from running. And certainly in South Wales, a lot of club cricket fell victim to the weather yesterday. So, can Buckle complete a double wicket maiden? Yes, she can, as Gammon can only dig it out. What a start then for Anna Buckle. 30 for no wicket becomes 30 for 2.
Yeah, Anna Buckle did play in that Women's County Cup match in Cardiff, and she took 2 for 30 on that occasion, removing B. Ellis and Beth Gammon. So I'll just reminds me now. I've got to just go and shut that door that we've got to stop the other banging of the other doors being heard. But
O'Neill, and that's off a leading edge. Go through for a single. Floaty little leggies being offered by Eve O'Neill.
Right, I am back in the game now. Sorry about that. Eve O'Neill just pausing as Gammon scratches her guard. Thought about a aggressive shot there, I think, and then pulled out at the last minute when she spotted the length.
Good areas.
You gotta love. Oh, just that should be. Yeah, that was a bit, just a little bit unfortunate there. Kiara Green almost diving over that one, allowed the single.
Yeah, skipper will have to give herself a rollicking.
Yeah, bowlers don't like that, of course, but when it's the captain, you have to. Oh, hello. That's a lofted one, and where's it going to come down? It's going to plug a little bit. Briefly, Sussex thought they might be in business for a catch, but that's enabled Jeans to take 2. She's doing very well at the moment, 24 from 29.
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility on her to take things on as the set batter at the moment.
O'Neill.
She does give it a lot of air, doesn't she? She keeps her nerve.
I think it's important as a spin bowler batters often talk about trying to hit a bowler off their length. Well, the bowler's got to hold their nerve and try and keep at that length. That is a floaty one. Might have been a slight overkill on the flight there, but single. End of the 9th, 35 for 2. Eve O'Neill 0 for 15 at Lords. Wicketless against Gloucestershire as well, but tighter, 0 for 21 off her 4.
So this is a Glamorgan side who will be stepping up to Tier 1 in 2 years' time. Not quite sure how the process came about, but Yorkshire step up to Tier 1 next year and Glamorgan the year after. So it's a lot of hard work, and the defeat against Lancashire Thunder showed the difference between the 2 tiers, you feel.
And a Buckle.
As that's steered away, just the single. So that's the first run off Buckle with her 7th delivery, and she took 2 wickets in her previous over.
It does give, obviously, it does give counties a bit of, planning time, I guess, to get themselves equipped for Tier 1. Does it also, do you think, keep players involved? Because obviously they might be tempted to join Tier 1 counties. If they think theirs is going to be Tier 1 in a couple of years' time, it might just give them an incentive to stick around. Lovely shot.
Firmly cut away by Gammon, just wide of backward point, who thought she was in business for a moment, but very firmly middled by Gammon. Pontypridd-born batter, stalwart of the Wales national county side.
She top scored against Sussex in that match we were talking about earlier. 41 she made off a 30. On that occasion Daisy Jeans made 35. So this partnership crucial. Oh,
full tosses don't help the Sussex cause, and Gammon's taken full advantage of that one away to square leg, so picking up boundaries on either side of the wicket, and that was something of a buffet ball for Sunday lunch. Help yourself time.
just got to get out of this over from a Sussex perspective unharmed. Buckle really.
That is a wide, which isn't going to help her. Well, it's quite a contrast really. Double wicket maiden, and now 10 off the first 3 legitimate deliveries. Here at a slightly overcast Hove, but it looks as though, if the forecasts are correct, that we should have a dry day all round for this game and the subsequent men's game at 4 o'clock. You can also follow here. Nicely placed through the offside. Now there's a little gap with the sweeper out on the cover boundary.
Yes, and we hope to try and, between innings in this match, to try and have another go at fixing our issue for the BBC Sport app and website commentaries, which if successful we will then return to our full radio commentary mode. But there's no guarantee on that. We'll have to see what's happening with our equipment at the Sussex end.
Ooh, a bit of bounce there for Buttle. Get her own back on Gammon, having been struck for a couple of boundaries. And just following her, there's a bit of movement off the pitch for Anna Buttle, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I think that might have been what did for Parfitt, you know, although the shot didn't help, of course, but
yeah, it was predetermined that accounted for Lauren Parfitt. Just chipped over point, and she'll get away with that one. And a couple of runs down to the backward point boundary. So the expensive over then. Glamorgan getting 13 off it. They're 48 for 2 at the halfway mark here on the Sussex County Cricket Club website with Nick Webb and Andrew Rayburn.
yes, thank you, Nick. I think Sussex will be the happier of the two teams in terms of the run rate. Score predictor you can see on your screen is 133.
That's a bit
ambitious.
Yeah. Glamorgan would be delighted to get up to 133, to be honest.
That would require 8.5 and over from here. Talitha Stanley in her third over, and that is going to go to the boundary in front of the Players' Pavilion. Cut away by Gammon, and that will take Glamorgan beyond 50. Takes Gammon to 14. Short and wide, cut away, and race to the boundary. So the 50 up. off of 61 deliveries. And that one is going to put that fielder under pressure, and it's going to beat her to the chase quite comfortably. So back-to-back boundaries, which is certainly helping the Glamorgan cause here. Again, wide, didn't get up this time, but certainly cut away firmly. And this partnership coming along nicely. Glamorgan 56 for 2 for 10.2. Bit of a change in the field. Jazz Wesley coming up inside the circle to mid-on, and then an extra fielder out on the rope through the cover region. And that means that that shot will not be a boundary, although that one wasn't timed as well, so probably would have been stopped by the existing fielder. But they recognised that they needed 2 to cover that boundary on the offside. Certainly for Gammon anyway. They've reverted to 1 out there, and Wesley dropping back to long on now for Jeans. Oh, an inside edge past the stumps, and that is going to go to the boundary rope as well, is it? It's certainly going to head up there. It's up the hill though, it's going to stop. And they're going to get possibly rather fortunate couple of runs there. But they all count, Nick. 11 off this over.
Yeah, Stanley can count herself somewhat unfortunate there.
Well, I think actually it would have been probably might have beaten the stumps anyway, but it's heading down leg side. I'm not sure, you've got a noting down over by over. I'm not sure what the most expensive over thus far has been.
We had 13 off the 10th. And we've had 11 off this one so far.
So 24 from the last couple of overs, which is really helping the Glamorgan cause as they look to cut loose in the middle overs here. And there is the shot that Parfitt wanted to play, and that's going to earn herself a boundary there. That's superb. Bit of execution.
15 off.
15 off that over, so 13 off the previous over, do you say, Nick?
Yep.
And that was picked up from outside off, manufactured brilliantly, and these two are ticking along very nicely. Jeans onto 34, Gammon onto 19, 63 for 2 at the end of the 11th, and at the end of the 9th it was 35 for 2. So that just shows you that Glamorgan have really picked up in the last couple, and Jeans and Gammon, as they did in the Women's Counties Cup match, are racing along here.
So what can Kiara Green magic up? Sticking with seam at the moment as the skipper positions herself. Curling from the Cromwell Road end.
That is big. Where's that going?
She's muscled it over mid-wicket. Maybe wasn't quite caught fully off the meat of the bat, but Betham Gammon certainly getting enough on that one, and managed to bisect the deep fielders on the leg side as well.
What do you put the acceleration down to, Nick? Just a sort of a different attitude from the Glamorgan batters, or is there something that Kiara Green can do from a Sussex perspective as we watch this?
Nicely cut away, finding the gap again. Good stop on the boundary from Stanley, saving the 4 down to 2. I'm not sure that Sussex have changed much. It's just been a different attitude from the Glamorgan batters, who were conservative in the opening overs, reaching 30 off 7 and the double wicket maiden, and something had to give really. But Gammon's certainly coming in, timing the ball pretty nicely from the starters. You can see from those stats, 26 off 14 deliveries, which is one heck of a strike rate at this level.
Yeah, about 200.
As the Wasp goes ever upwards. Muscled away by Jeans through the leg side. Mid-wicket though will keep it down to a single.
Yeah, you scoffed at one, was it 130?
Yeah, I thought 133 at the time was looking a bit optimistic, but Bath and Gammon is proving me wrong at the moment, and Daisy Jeans ticking over nicely, as she has from the start really.
Yeah, as you said, Nick, it's as the set batter, she's really, it's the innings has been built around her, hasn't it? And Gammon's been allowed to play her shots.
And she's certainly doing that in style at the moment, as that one is dispatched back over the bowler's head for another boundary. And this is exciting stuff from Glamorgan. And well, will they be tempted to look for a possible sixth bowler, since some of the established ones are getting a bit of stick at the moment?
Yeah, it's difficult to know at the moment for Sussex what they can do to stem the flow. It is all coming off the bat of Gammon.
Green up in the circle, able to keep that one down to a single, but Glamorgan will be quite happy to see Gammon take the strike, even though Jeans has been there longer. And another 13 runs off that over, so Glamorgan very much on the charge here at Hove, as the crowd, many of them no doubt, will stay on for the men's game and enjoying the double-header, extra value for money, and the women's players do seem to be quite keen on getting this extra exposure at the moment, playing double-headers. It may be in future years, of course, that they'll be more standalone.
Kiara Green. Be a single for her, so she's bowled very tightly. A couple of overs just for, well, 5 runs now. That is going to go all the way. Is it just over the rope for 6? So just as I was talking about the economy rate of Kiara Green, she's gone for the first maximum of the innings, and that is a fine shot dispatched by Daisy Jeans. Partnership now for 53, so 50 stand between Jeans and Gammon. Picked that up nicely and plonked it over the rope. How can Green respond? Short, wide, and cut away. Good stop, but won't prevent a single.
So if my maths are right, that 50 stand actually came up in a fraction under 5 overs.
I mentioned when we talked about that score predictor that they said they needed 8.5 from there on in. That was at the 10 over mark, wasn't it? And well, now they are going well beyond that at the moment, but and that is going to be another boundary, and it's going to be 4. Gammon this time going aerial, finding the rope, and it's a punishing period of play for Sussex, this, after the double wicket maiden for Anna Buckle earlier in the piece. Glamorgan are now racing away. It's a better response from Green, but she's now gone for 12 in that over. So we've had Score now 88 for 2 at the end of the 13th, and after 9 overs there were 35 for 2. So yeah, that is quite something.
It's been an innings of two halves so far, and nice to see the youngsters in enjoying themselves, and maybe getting a few more heroes, but Sussex could do with a hero in the bowling ranks.
Eve O'Neill returning, 2 overs for 10 for her so far. Changing ends, I think. She was bowling from this end, wasn't she, before?
So the leg spinner O'Neill. Oh, there's got the wicket as Jeans tempted forward and stumped by the proverbial country mile there. There's the breakthrough that Sussex really needed at the start of this 14th over, and Jeans just fell over herself really, and well taken, but it was a clear-cut chance for Molly Adams behind the stumps.
Yes, indeed, and we talked earlier, didn't we, about Eve O'Neill giving it a lot of air. Well, that was down, it was really above the eye line, and it was very tempting for Jeans to come down, and unfortunately she ran past it, and off come the bails. So 42 for her.
Runner ball held Glamorgan together, certainly after those couple of wickets in the 9th over, and played a support act to Bath and Gammon and the acceleration, but she hit 4 fours and a 6 in that 42.
She made 35 in the Women's Counties Cup match against Sussex, and O'Neill got her on that occasion as well.
So new batter scheduled to be B. Ellis, 21-year-old, born in Cheltenham.
Oof.
Oh dear, that was a big shot for
a bye.
A bye was wide given as well. I don't think it was. So 89 for 3. Ellis, who hit 77 against Gloucestershire in the Cup. Oh, well, O'Neill's got them in a bit of a tangle in this over. First Jeans running past one, and then Gammon almost waiting to play that shot and threw it before the ball arrived. It's the lack of pace that's proving successful for
absolutely
O'Neill at the moment.
Tossing it up and
wait for it, wait for it. That's cut straight to point.
Sussex do need to tighten the screws a little, and
well, this is one way of doing it. It's a high-risk way, but certainly a successful one this over so far.
might take 2 here. Should be able to take 2 comfortably. Chose the right end to throw, but always likely to be home.
Gammon had to put the skates on a little. Ellis is up and running, and again able just to place the ball that time through the offside for a comfortable single. So the over from Eve O'Neill that brought the breakthrough, and a little deceleration in terms of runs. 93 for 3, and we have 6 overs to go here at a sunny county ground, first central county ground in Hove.
Yep, just the sky is a mix of high white clouds and sort of blue sky, not quite as it would want to look on a beautiful summer's day, height of summer. Of course, we've got the longest day of the year coming up in a week or 2.
Is it that time already?
Yeah, I know. Fortunately, we have a long day of cricket as well today. 2 matches, double header. We are going to see Jazz Wesley bowl now. Didn't bowl against Gloucester, yeah. So let's see how Wesley gets on here against Ellis. As finds the edge there, but to the fielder.
Bit of a task, isn't it, coming on for your first over in the 15th?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many overs she's tasked with. Presumably not that many. And that will be a comfortable single. So, yes, they've got another over each for Green, Curling, Stanley and O'Neill, and then 2 for Buckle. You'd imagine Buckle will bowl more, having taken 2 wickets, but we shall see. Oh, just beating the dive of the fielder there, and that will go for 4, despite the despairing dive. And you can say threaded perfectly, because it beat the infield just past the fielder's dive, and then beat a fielder's dive on the rope as well. Found the gap with precision.
Yeah, it has helped the Glamorgan charge, hasn't it, that they have found the gaps, no matter where Kiara Green has deployed her fielders.
Something they weren't doing really in the first 7 or 8 overs. Driven, and that's well placed as well, but will only be a single. Gammon will be desperate to reach her half century. She's gone along so quickly, 42 from 23. Striking at just under, well, you can tell just under 200, but 8 fours in that innings so far. Ellis 4 from 6 deliveries. She's not long at the crease. Big appeal, and she's given out. So Ellis's stay ends with the attempt at a sweep, which she played all around it. Reverse sweep, yeah, right in front. They were very confident, weren't they, the Sussex fielders? They knew that was close. And we can see from both angles that that is plumb LBW, and she did not hang around really to see the umpire's decision. She tried to drag her leg away from the stumps as quickly as possible, but
you do, don't you? I think all batters do. Just if you get hit on the pad, a quick twitch of the leg.
It's like the as an umpire, you do have to look at the tells from batters, don't you? It's the little glance behind at the wicket keeper as well when the ball's gone past the bat that tends to indicate they've edged it. The panic on their faces. So an important wicket that for Sussex, an important one as well for Jazz Wesley.
Yeah, Gemma Porter was a bowling star last week against Middlesex as the new batter.
6 off this over, plus the wicket. That will be a wide. Turn on offer there.
Anticlimactic way to bring the 100
Oh yes,
up.
the 100 comes up for Glamorgan, yes. At the end, towards the end of the 15th over. And that's how it will stay. So yes, a breakthrough in that over for Sussex. Glamorgan 100 for 4 after 15.
I still think the Wasp, if 145 is a bit on the optimistic side as far as the Welsh are concerned, and a bit on the pessimistic side as far as Sussex viewers are concerned. 135 to 140 I would have thought would be a a reasonable score.
Yeah, 5 overs left, so yeah, 7 and over gets you to 135.
O'Neill continues to tempt. Gammon goes high. Long on is underneath it and takes the catch. And Bethan Gammon's entertaining knock comes to an end with the tempting twirl of Eve O'Neill getting another big victim for Sussex. She's got both the top scorers now, Jeans and Gammon.
Well, that will give Sussex a real boost with Gammon, who was playing very expansively, very expressively. And with that wicket, you'll notice that the Wasp has gone down to 140. So 5 runs taken out of the equation just with that wicket. So that shows you the importance of the set batter in that equation, the importance of how Gammon was playing. But you have to say, Nick, from a Glamorgan point of view, what a fantastic knock. I know she'll be frustrated that she didn't go on and didn't stay in to guide Glamorgan home to a big total, but given where they were when Bethany Gammon came in, that's a vital contribution.
Yeah, 8 boundaries for Bethan Gammon in her 42. Same score as Daisy Jeans. She took 41 balls. Gammon took just 24. O'Neill then to Poppy Tulloch. Forced onto the defensive. Tulloch, a 19-year-old, formerly with Berkshire, but on loan at the moment from Hampshire, hence the lack of number.
Yeah, and I'll be filling you in on some more details of the Sussex players when they're batting, just for those who are getting acclimatised to this team.
Tulloch off the mark then, with a gentle little push on the leg side, and not ideal to have 2 new batters at the crease at this stage as Glamorgan look to accelerate. Neil taking a time. 4 in a fairly tight ring on the offside. Just 1 saving the single on the leg side. And that'll be a single out the cover sweeper. Turn and have a look at it, but decide against as Norgrove's throw comes in. Abby Norgrove, the loanee for Sussex for this match.
Yeah, Eve O'Neill, 17.
It's played into the offside for a single. Oh dear.
Now, what's happened there? She okay? Yeah.
Is that just a bit of bruised pride and an extra single as Collis couldn't field cleanly?
Yeah, Eve O'Neill turned 17 just last month. England under-19 player.
Push and run from Tulloch. Well, she gets used to conditions out there, but of course you don't have any time really. 5 off the over plus a wicket, and Sussex putting the brakes on what looked like a Glamorgan charge with the wickets of Jeans for 42, Ellis for just 4, and then Gammon also for 42. Wesley to continue after her success.
Yep, Wesley 1 for 7. So yeah, Sussex with 4 overs to bowl, but they are going to leave some of their frontline bowlers short in terms of overs. Wesley continuing 1 for 7. That'll just be a single. Yeah, well, the the way to do it is to, these days in the modern game, is to always think about the second, but there was never a second there. You get up to the other end, you turn, looking positive, but...
Just puts a little bit more pressure on the fielder, doesn't it? To try and induce the fumble from the fielder. Wasn't happening there.
That will be a wide. Can't remember now who was talking about it, but I remember they were talking about, someone was talking about Joe Root and saying that Joe Root's the sort of person to look like they're about to run and then send you back and say no. And there's another single. Eve O'Neill at the other end bowling. She won the Cricket Society's award for the most outstanding under-16 schoolgirl cricketer last year.
Bit of a drag down from Wesley there.
Oh, there they are, going to take a couple because of a misfield. Extra run. Yeah, the old adage of never run on a misfield doesn't apply in T20 cricket because you need every run you can get. But,
I'm not quite sure why that was invented, really, that saying.
No. I suppose because a fielder is going to pick it up still quickly before you can get the run completed, possibly. But like everything, it's all situation dependent, isn't it? It's not...
Yeah, it depends on the stage of the match, the format you're playing, the distance from the bat, the ability of the fielder, etc., etc.
But all these adages never come with those caveats, do they?
No.
I before E except after C doesn't work either. There's about 1,000 words where that doesn't apply. That's lofted and a couple of bounces, good stop. And they will take a couple, but the applause from around the ground is for that good bit of fielding out on the boundary rope.
Yeah, Nancy Harmon just getting there in time.
Of course, the top order, which Harmon is part, will be starting to think about their batting very shortly. That's the one thing about white ball games, of course, as opposed to red ball cricket, is that at a certain point you can have a quarter of a mind on your batting. You don't want it to disrupt your fielding, but certainly at this stage the Sussex openers will start to think about their jobs with the bat. 114 for 5 at the end of the 17th. And the Wasp now hovering around 141. Well, not around it, but on it. Which would require another 27 from here off of the last 3, which is doable.
It's doable, but some of these lower order Glamorgan batters have not had to do much batting this season. Glamorgan going well in the One Day Cup. 3 wins out of 4 there.
Kiara Green coming on now to relieve Eve O'Neill.
So the more experienced skipper taking responsibility over from the youngster. Nicely timed from Porter.
O'Neill finished with 2 for 19 from her 4. Great return for her.
Yeah, anything less than a runner ball, plus the 2 wickets of the top scorers, the batters who are well set. Appeal for caught behind off the rather messy reverse sweep attempt by Tulloch there.
The other thing for an umpire is the volume of the appeal. If they're not that interested, neither should you be.
Tucked away by Tulloch into the leg side. She was the second top scorer last week at Northwood against Middlesex with 16 not out. As Glamorgan's batting rather imploded, apart from her and Niamh Holland. And a Somerset recall on the strength of that. Chipped and caught.
Oh,
not
dropped.
Well, that looked like a simple one. Oh, that's back for 2 runs as well, and that is not great cricket from Sussex, I'm afraid. Looked like a simple catch, and then to concede the second run as well.
one of the, well, actually, I think it might have just been a bit too big on her, possibly.
That one just chipped over mid-wicket as well, so Sussex starting to leak runs when it seemed they had put the brakes on. And Morgan finding the gaps. Green will not be a happy bunny.
Anna Buckle, I think it was, who put that one down and then put a hand of apology out after that boundary. Might have just been a little bit big on her. She's quite tall as it is, but might have been a little bit big on her. It's possibly one of those where it is almost too simple and you almost take your eye off it a little.
Gets away with a wideish delivery, does the skipper, to finish the over then. 122 for 5 and just 2 overs to come here in this coverage of Sussex against Glamorgan, courtesy of Sussex County Cricket Club, live from the First Central Ground.
So Kiara Green then...
she bowled out?
Yes, she has. 0 for 24 from her 4. So O'Neill's bowled out 2 for 19, Green's bowled out 0 for 24. And there's 2 overs to bowl.
Stanley is going to bowl the first of them, so she's going to get her 4.
Tyler Stanley 0 for 28 so far. She's gone for 5 boundaries. Anna Buckle might well be stuck on 2 for 13 from 2. We'll see who takes the final over.
Oh dear, Tulloch struggling here.
And that's a run out.
It's the sort of run that maybe you have to attempt at this stage, but I think Tulloch slipped halfway back and was always looking short of a ground if there was a half-decent throw, and there certainly was.
Yeah, good bit of ground fielding from Sussex. Just looking at the replay now. Yeah, a slight slip. And that was well, she might have been short anyway, actually, because the throw was really good. But it made the umpire's life a lot easier. And you have to say that, obviously you say, yeah, at this time of the innings, it's just a little bit early for going for a tight second run when you are 5 down.
Depends how confident you are in those coming behind. So credit to Nancy Harmon for that one. Nice accurate throw from the deep. Molly Adams whipping the bails off. Single counts, of course.
Indeed, so 123 for 6. And Clements is coming to the crease.
So probably toss up between Curling and Buckle for the last over.
Yeah, you would imagine, given Curling open, that she would be entrusted with the final one. But Lydia Clements now in for Glamorgan.
Yeah, Devon-born but long-standing Wales player.
Good running. So Stanley from the sea end. A bit of wind out there now, isn't there? I think it's been a feature of this game. Slower ball, well taken, well bowled as well, good line. Yeah, you can hear the wind, the effect of the wind on our effects mic now. There's nobody in the ring on the through mid wicket, so no danger in that shot aerially, but single. Sussex will be happy, I think, won't they, as long as Glamorgan don't find boundaries at this stage.
Yeah, singles are no problem. 135-ish. Would leave both sides in the game, I think.
Yeah, it would be a very interesting total, actually. Sussex very happy with the way this is going, this over. Just 3 runs from it, including the run taken on the run out, which is why if you can see your ball by ball graphic there, that you would appear to be only 2 from the over, but it is 3, as that wicket includes a run. That's down the leg side, that'll be a wide.
That'll be a wide and a half.
Yeah. Might be a wide in red ball cricket, that one. So.
Easy job for Mr. Daniels with that one.
And if Stanley can get out of this over unblemished from here, Sussex will be happy. That will be just the one, so they will be fairly happy, I think, with that over, with 5 coming from it. 127 for 6 with an over to go.
Stanley finishes with 0 for 32. 33, is that ticked on? Let's see. Green was 0 for
33.
33. A little on the expensive side. O'Neill 2 for 19. Green's bowled out 0 for 24.
So it is going to be Anna Buckle to bowl the final one. She took 2 wickets in an over, double wicket maiden, and then went for 13 on her second. So this one is anybody's guess.
Absolutely. Maybe needs a wicket, having dropped the catch as well. It's carted away on the leg side.
Oh, they're going to come back for a
second. And Porter's done well there to put the pressure on Anna Buckle.
Yeah, I think even if a clean gather would have been home anyway, and possibly, I mean, I say wrong end, but of course you've got to throw it further to get it to the wicket-keeper's end, and so therefore give the batter an extra second or so to get in. So I think that was good running.
Yeah, Lydia Clements, one of the more experienced players at county level, 26 years old.
That's a good shot.
It's helped away on the leg side, but they won't. Oh
no!
Into risk. There's a mess up here. There should be a run out. Porter will go.
That was a complete lack of communication. I mean, the question whether there was a second run on, I'm not entirely sure, but Clements was not interested at all, was she? I think she had her back to her.
That's poor communication.
So look, if you, Clements says no.
No, Clements says yes. It's Porter who was
Porter,
very
beg your pardon, sorry, Porter
slow.
says sorry, yes, beg your pardon, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong end, aren't I? Yes, sorry.
So,
yes.
Porter it is who has to go. And, well, it was a risky run. And again, it's 1 added to the total and a wicket added to the total.
130 for 7.
4 balls to come. Georgia Parfitt.
A relation, presumably?
Yep. Yes, 5 years younger than Lauren. Clements has played that one cannily into a gap to look for 2, but good anticipation keeps it down to a single for Sussex. The skipper running a long way there from mid-off to mid-on. I was remarking on this on commentary on the other day, it is something of a trend in modern T20 for the bowler to have to field themselves at mid-wicket to cover anything pushed short on the leg side.
Yeah, they leave it to they leave that space, don't they? And
just the singles by mutual consent. 2 balls left, 2 legitimate balls left of Anna Buckle's over.
gone for 5 so far.
Low full toss as Clement came down the wicket, but good outfielding from Sussex on this occasion, and they don't risk the second run. Already been a couple of run-outs. Lottie Curling responsible with the throw for the dismissal of Porter for 13, most recent one, and then Harman getting rid of Tulloch for 10. Last ball. They'll have to try a bye. Oh, it could be in the third run out here. It should be, and it is. That was rather messy from Glamorgan, really.
You have to do what you can, don't you?
Georgia Parfitt. Little slow in setting off, really, because Clement was always going to run from the non-striker's end. And 133 for 8 then is the final Glamorgan tally.
Yeah, you've got to run, even as the batter, you've got to run even if you miss it on the final ball. The non-striker knew her job, but unfortunately she was very slow off the mark. It's not often you say caught ball watching when you haven't hit it, but on this occasion she was, and that was a criticism, of course, levelled at New Zealand's men in the 2019 World Cup final. A bouncer through to the wicket-keeper, they didn't run. And it all came down to the super over, which it might otherwise not have done. But anyway, that's ancient history.
So looking at that bowling card, a couple of vital wickets apiece for O'Neill, who got the two main scorers, and for Buckle, who made the early breakthroughs and bowled a double wicket maiden in the 9th. So they've done well. 133 for 8, I think, is respectable for Glamorgan, but certainly attainable for Sussex.
I think it's going to be a very close encounter, this one, yeah, based on that. So yeah, Glamorgan started slowly, Sussex bowled really tightly, and yeah, so Sussex will obviously hope to make a swiftish start, but if Glamorgan take a couple of early wickets, this could get very interesting. Just to run you through the batting card then, as you can see on your score there, Jeans with 42, an excellent innings from her for 41 deliveries before she was stumped. A couple of early wickets falling though, with Lauren Parfitt out to Anna Buckle, Burt caught and bowled Buckle as well, all in the same over. Bethany Gammon played really, really well, 42 from 24 deliveries, excellent innings before she was a victim of Eve O'Neill's slow bowling. Ellis LBW to Wesley for 4. Porter and Tulloch both run out for 13 and 10 respectively, and then Georgia Parfitt run out towards the end, or after the last ball, for 1, and Lydia Clements left on 7 not out. And yeah, so we've done the bowling figures pretty much. Green 0 for 24, Curling 0 for 20, Stanley 0 for 33, O'Neill and Buckle, though, the star acts, with 2 for 19 each. Buckle bowling only the 3 overs, O'Neill the 4, and Wesley 1 for 16. There's the run rates that you can see on your score, with the wickets falling in clusters for Glamorgan, but it's going to be a tight one. Stick with us here, and we'll take you through that run chase shortly. See, the thing is, they can fix the the vowels on the table, that goes to the beans that they can fix I had this up at now, so the right one of those. Welcome back to Hove for the run chase in this T20 Blast women's match between Sussex Sharks and Glamorgan, and I'm delighted to say that we are now broadcasting to listeners on the BBC Sussex website and app. Technical issues meant we couldn't bring you the Glamorgan innings, but they have now been resolved. I hope so. We'll hope that the line stays good for what should be an intriguing run chase. Let me just bring you up to date for those who are tuning in via the website. Glamorgan 133 for 8 in their innings in their 20 overs. So Sussex need 134 from 20 overs to win this match and take a second victory from their first 3 games. I'm joined in the commentary box by Nick Webb from BBC Radio Wales, and we'll watch the first ball bowled to Collis by Porter for Glamorgan. And Nick, it's an intriguing run chase we've got set up here. This is spin, so we'll go through this over pretty quickly. Nick will be able to come in with his thoughts, I dare say, but a couple of dot balls to start with, as that one is turned away into the leg side for no run. And I'll bring you all the details of the match thus far and who's batting. This is clipped away through the mid-wicket for the opening run for Sussex, as Collis comes through for a single, and the loney Abby Norgrove at the other end. So Izzy Collis off the mark, Abby Norgrove about to face her first ball. England under-19 captain at the recent World Cup in Malaysia. She's on loan from Hampshire for this match. So she's facing up now as she drives out into the offside. There's no run though, can't beat the inner field, so a good tight start to this first over of the reply. As I say, Sussex needing 134 to beat Glamorgan. And in comes this one. It's a full toss from Porter, and that's allowed Norgrove to get off the mark through mid-wicket. Come through for a single 2 without loss. So both Collis and Norgrove off the mark. They'll be pleased with that. Glamorgan will be pleased with the start here at just the 2 runs from the first 5 deliveries. And this one is going to be pushed up towards the deep fielder at long on. So that means 3 from the first over, with Sussex chasing 134. And I can now bring in from BBC Radio Wales Nick Webb. Good afternoon, Nick.
Good afternoon. Yeah, Gemma Porter last week's star with the ball for Glamorgan, 3 for 7 against Middlesex, but unable to make an early breakthrough there. And Glamorgan fielding a few lone players here and there. Poppy Tulloch from Hampshire, Emily Burke from the Surrey Academy. So it will be Tulloch who opens up from the Cromwell Road end. Teenager on the Hampshire box.
A couple of seagulls, quite high level, swooping around the ground.
Like Sussex earlier, Glamorgan going with the spin and seam mixed opening option, and the first ball is steered away into the leg side by Collis and singled down towards backwards square leg. 4 without loss. If you are just joining us either on the Sussex County website or YouTube or BBC, 2 main contributors with bat and ball. Jeans and Gammon both made 42. O'Neill and Buttle both took 2 for 19. Simple to summarise. Here's Tulloch again. Bowls down leg side, wide caught, 5 without loss. Morgan with a series of run-outs in the closing stages, which I suppose is inevitable, but some of their running towards the back end of the innings left a little bit to be desired. 3 run-outs in a row. But it was the stand of 58 between Jeans and Gammon that gave them some momentum. Hoisted away on the leg side this time from Norgrove. Falls well short of deep backward square. And it is just the single. So Tulloch, although she's on loan, has already played several matches for Glamorgan women. Made 10 at the back end of the innings before being one of those run-outs. Collis has got going twice so far, knocks that one away on the leg side for a single. Innings of 29 and 24 for the Oxford-born opener.
Yeah, hit 4 boundaries in both of those innings. And Abby Norgrove has a high score in this format of 84 not out, which she made for Oxfordshire against Somerset last year.
Telekin then. Bowls. Norgrove doesn't get hand that one, and that is a well-run single as the ball dribbled out on the leg side, spotting that the fielder there was set back Bethan Gammon towards the edge of the 30-metre circle. The ball just dribbling out for the quick single. 8 without loss. Second over.
The Sussex flag above the scoreboard is fluttering quite nicely, so the wind is still up.
Bowles hits her on the pads. They think about a leg by, and in the end decide against as it dribbles out on the offside this time. So reasonable start for Sussex. 134, a moderate sort of target. So you do need to get some momentum, but as Glamorgan showed, if you keep wickets in hand, you can get some momentum in the back half of the innings. That's Collis unlucky to find the fielder there at point, steering that one away nicely. And it's 8 for naught after 2 here from Sussex Cricket and the BBC.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, that the power play with the fielders up inside the circle is sort of intended to encourage, shots over the infield and to encourage boundaries, but it tends to work the other way around. That sometimes batters can find the infield a bit intimidating, and it's once those players start to retreat that they can then start to pick the gaps and also find the boundary. Now there's a hit on the pad from this is Porter bowling again with her spin to Norgrove. There's no run as that squeezes away on the offside, and she doesn't waste any time, Porter, does she? So we'll have no problem with a cut-off again, no doubt. But and down the pitch and through the wicket-keeper as well. That one, as Norgrove tried to meet it, it's going to go up towards up the hill towards the Cromwell Road end boundary. They've come through for a couple of runs. Did that come off an edge? It's been given as runs. Now the wind really is getting up.
Didn't see any signal from the umpire, Mr. Daniels.
So the wind is getting up on our effects mic. We're going to turn that down for the moment. That one's cut away and gathered in. I think we might be all right. Yeah, it was just a bit of a gust. I always want to try and keep the atmosphere of the field behind our commentary. No run off that last ball. 2 from this over. 3 balls gone in it. Advances slightly Norgrove, but can only find a diving fielder at the cover point region. 10 without loss, and we are into the third over. Sussex chasing 134, don't forget. And to our live stream viewers, we are now obviously full radio commentary as well for our BBC listeners, so if we're repeating things you can see on screen, that's why. And this one driven by Norgrove, but again finds the fielder at cover, and there's no run. Good over this from Porter, just the 2 from it thus far. Norgrove 5 from 9. First match in Sussex colours. This one driven, she'll take a single this time, keeps the strike. End of the third over, 11 without loss, and Sussex needing another 123, beg your pardon.
Nice to see quite a few in here already, and the crowd increasing by the moment. Lots of youngsters in, which is always good, and hoping to find some new heroes and heroines.
And if you are listening to us around the ground, you might have your mobile app working or your headphones in or something, but yes, I hope anybody listening around the ground is enjoying their day, and I dare say all of you will be staying on for the men's match, which follows at 4 o'clock between two sides who have started pretty well. I think 2 wins and a defeat for both.
It's a bit more of Tulloch as Norgrove plays this one on the leg side and has found a gap down towards the umpire, so it's a fairly comfortable single as Sarah Phillips comes scampering in off the boundary. 12 for naught, chasing 1-3-4 to win. Sussex won one, lost one. Glamorgan lost their opener at Middlesex, having done well in the one-day cup stuff. Tulloch giving it a bit of width and Collis punching it to point, and there is no run. Bit of breeze that those watching will be able to see on the camera as well, which is always a delight. The fixed cameras, of course, are stuck on the top of the sight screens in most cases.
Yes, the fortunate actually that it's not affecting our effects mic at the moment, because it's certainly bumping the fixed cameras.
And Tulloch sticking to that line just outside of off stump, and Collis unable to pierce the infield at the moment. There are potential rewards on offer there because there is no sweeper on the cover boundary. There are 5 in the offside ring. 2 inside the circle on the leg side, and then backward square and fine leg are the 2 outfielders that are permitted in the first 6. Pulled away from Collis, looking to find one of those leg side gaps, but picks out Phillips out there in the deep. Single taken. 13 without loss, so this cagey game continues. We had Sussex bowlers in control early on. Glamorgan struggling rather to 30 for 2 after 8. Then a decent stand between Jeans and Gammon got them flying. O'Neill got both of those just in time for Sussex. Norgrove looking for a big shot on the leg side and sent back by Collis on this occasion. Probably rightly so. Must be difficult for these players to get to know their playing colleagues very quickly when you just parachuted in for the odd weekend here and there.
Yeah, same with Rachel King, who made 68 not out against Gloucestershire last Sunday, but she was on loan as well, so she isn't available for this one. And so in comes Abby Norgrove on loan from Hampshire.
Well, that was the same with Niamh Holland, who was top scorer for Glamorgan, and when a Kent call up into Somerset call up. That's big from Norgrove, that's over, long off, and that'll run away with a couple of bounces up to the boundary ropes. And Sussex eventually putting the foot on the accelerator then, with Norgrove timing that one well, got plenty of it, and although mid-off scampered back, there was no preventing it from going for a boundary. 17 without loss then, here on Sussex County Cricket website and YouTube and on the BBC.
And looking around just to the periphery of the ground, there's some washing hung up in one of the flats right to the ground, which is getting a good airing, and there's some also some sort of awnings as well, which have got some little flaps on that have got a good breeze to them. The Sussex flag is flapping well, so yeah, there's a lot of there's a stiff breeze out there blowing west to east across the ground.
Yeah, it might cause a few problems for the spinners, but certainly young Eve O'Neill did well.
Yeah, she gave the ball a lot of flight, so maybe that was the wind might have been in her favour.
Put it up there and
let the wind do the rest.
Here we are, it's Emily Burke for you.
Emily Burke with her pace up to the wicket now, and she bowls and pulled away by Collis, and that's going to be 4 through sort of deep backward square leg, more fine leg region maybe. So another boundary for Sussex, a boundary to Collis. She made 29 and 24, as we were saying earlier, in the first 2 matches, and she is trying to motor now for the Sharks, who are 21 without loss, 4.1 overs, and they're chasing their target of 134, having restricted Glamorgan earlier to 133 for 8, as Burke comes in and bowls, and an appeal and an out, given out by the umpire, I think, for a stumping.
Well, it seemed to be a double appeal, wasn't it? It was the square leg umpire who raised the finger, but excellent work from Georgia Parfitt there behind the stumps to make the breakthrough, and Izzy Collis just
sort of
falling
stumbled,
over
yeah,
as she played the shot. There seemed to be initial excitement about a possible caught behind, but tidy work from Parfitt, and Burke gets the breakthrough, and
that's a big wicket for Glamorgan.
Collis on her way back, yeah, having got runs in the last couple of games, and it's 21 for 1 in the 5th.
Excellent stuff. So excellent wicket keeping that from Parfitt, and Burke has the breakthrough for Glamorgan, and Izzy Collis goes 21 for 1 in the 5th. Nancy Harmon comes in. She made 26 against Middlesex and 27 against Gloucestershire, so she's in decent nick as well, although both starts without going on to something bigger. It's only Rachel King who's made a score over 30 for Sussex in the 2 matches so far, and she's not playing in this one. So we saw a double contribution, didn't we, in the Glamorgan innings from Jeans and Gammon, over 40, 42 both of them, as this first ball from Harmon is flicked out into the leg side off her pads for a single. So that's got her off the mark first ball. Sussex to 22 for 1 in the 5th over. A reminder, part of a double header this one, with the men's match to follow at 4 o'clock. I shall be grabbing reaction after this match from the women's team, which you'll be able to hear across platforms. This one driven straight to the fielder. No run there from Norgrove, who's 11 from 14. Enjoyed herself as captain of the England under-19s at the World Cup at the start of the year in Malaysia. As this ball is outside the off stump and cut away between 2 fielders, and that will be 4 runs for Norgrove, who is looking in good touch. Wasn't quite off the middle of the bat, a little bit aerial, but between 2 fielders, and then right down to the boundary in front of the players' pavilion for more, to the Sussex total, 26 for 1.
Wasps 79% in Sussex's favour.
That will change and fluctuate throughout the day. This one down the leg side, bit of bat on that one, and that will be 4 more. Norgrove needs no invitation to guide that down to the boundary. That one really was down the leg side. Slightly misjudged out of the hand. I think possible attempt at a slower ball, came out wrong and ended up going down the leg side, which Norgrove just then paddled it round the corner for 4 more runs. Sussex 30 for 1 at the end of the 5th over.
Well, Emily Burke getting the breakthrough, but there were a couple of rather dodgy deliveries in that over as well, conceding 13 runs. As the other numberless player in the Glamorgan ranks, Poppy Tulloch, will continue from the Cromwell Road end. So she's tasked with bowling all 3 from the top end in this power play here at the First Central County Ground. As Tulloch is into bowl, hits the pads of Harmon, flicked away down towards fine leg. 3 fielders converge on it, but it is just the single. 31 for 1. Bit of bat onto the pad, since it's credited to Harmon.
There was a brief how's that from the bowler, but she was the only one. She was on her own on that one.
Yes. optimistic in the extreme. Here comes Tulloch again, bowls, and that one's helped on its way down towards backward square, this time by Norgrove, comfortable single. Harman has got going in both previous matches, innings of 26 and 27. So she may well be in a reasonably confident mood. 32 for 1, 6th over, chasing 134.
Yeah, Harman, those 53 runs in total coming off of 41 deliveries, so she's...
No run there though, as she's found the cover point fielder.
She hit Sussex's only 6 of their innings against Middlesex at Lords. They never really set enough runs in that one to prevent Middlesex from coasting to victory.
Yes, home comforts though. Against Gloucestershire last week, and here against Glamorgan for Sussex. As that's driven, but not... Oh, I was going to say not quite timed, but it was timed rather better than I thought. It's gone through the dive of mid-on, and it has run away up the hill for 4 runs. So Harman did get tucked into that one nicely. Maybe something of a half volley. And, well, Jeans might reflect that she might have gone down a little bit quicker to get that one.
It's funny, isn't it, that you know, we're obviously seeing this, we're behind the batter from this end, but you often get a sound from the, you know, an indication of the timing from the sound. It did sound a little bit kind of flat, didn't it, as a noise?
Toe end, yeah.
Yeah, but it still had enough. I mean, forget the dive for the moment. It still had enough to get up the hill, as you say, and find the boundary. So clearly timed well enough. That's all it needs.
Is sent back. Square leg has come up. Fine leg is up now as well, and they will be tested. But it's a good
stop
at short fine leg, as that one squirted away off the inside edge of Harman's bat, and they've gone through for a single. 37 for 1. So Sussex putting the foot down, albeit this is the last ball of the power play, and therefore Glamorgan can stick a few fielders back for the next over.
Another change in the field.
Yeah, she's thinking hard, Lauren Parfitt, obviously, and square leg and fine leg is summoned up into the circle again, and long on and long off are the outfielders for this last ball of the power play. As Tulloch bowls, it's a slower one, and it's forced through the offside for 4 by Abby Norgrove, so that is very much advantage Sussex in the power play, chasing 134 to win. They are 41 for 1, and Abby Norgrove is going really strongly. 24 runs off the last 2 overs.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fielding change mattered not, because that was cut away into a region that was left untouched, and that one was a good firm shot, which there's no fault in the fielder on that occasion. That was just good batting. And it has been excellent for Abby Norgrove so far. 24 from 18. She is a talent. England under-19 captain, as I say, at the recent World Cup. And some thinking for Glamorgan to do at this point in time. So they're going to see a new bowler now in Phillips, who's coming on.
Yep, 20-year-old off-spinner, student in Cardiff.
Sarah Phillips.
Sarah Phillips.
Sarah. No H, but sometimes that could be Sarah. This one's lofted up towards long on. Jeans collects, briefly put her hand up to the sun to block the sun out, and it was always going to fall well short of her. So the field is the 4 people out on the rope are at deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, and deep extra cover. As this one is squirted away backward a square, an untidy bit of fielding which will allow them to go on. I thought it was going to be allowing a 2, but no, in the end well recovered, and so Sussex take 1 and moves their total on to 43 for 1. Norgrove to 25, Harman on 8. So their current run rate is 6.79, the rate required is 6.66. So Sussex up with the scoring rates. This one's driven past the bowler, up towards Jeans at long on again, taken a single. And this is the point where the fielders, with the fielders out, where Sussex can start to milk the spinners, you would imagine, but they don't want to get themselves too bogged down either. And it was what was Glamorgan at the end of the power play? Can we
25 for naught.
25 without loss. That one is played out to the offside for no run. So Sussex are ahead of the game in that respect, but Glamorgan did start to up the ante around about the 9th over. And this one's forced down the pitch off the back foot. Aerial over the bowler's head. No run though, because the fielder at mid-off is coming in to stop the single. Phillips will get through this over relatively quickly and also relatively unscathed at the moment. Just 3 runs from it. As she comes in now and bowls. This one's shorter, this one flatter and quicker, and cut away out into the deep on the offside for a single. So 4 runs from that over. Sussex Sharks on to 45 for 1 at the end of the 7th, with Harman on 9, Norgrove on 26. And they're ticking along nicely, but as we know in this format of the game, or indeed of course any format of cricket, a couple of wickets and suddenly the opposition are well back into the match. It's going to be a close one. On the YouTube stream you'll be able to see the worm, which shows Sussex, as I say, well ahead of the rate at this point, but you can see if you are watching on YouTube that from the 9th over onwards, Glamorgan up to about the 14th really put the foot on the gas. And the Manhattan being shown as well now, which reflects that, with, was that 15 off the 11th? Yeah, so really was
big overs in the middle for Glamorgan in particular.
But very similar at the moment.
Poppy Walker then will bowl her leg breaks, and the first ball hits the pad of Abby Norgrove as she looks to sweep away on the leg side. So Poppy Walker is originally from Kent, 17-year-old though, and she is in the Glamorgan Academy ranks. Ooh, that's a full toss and helped away down leg side, and Abby Norgrove needing no second invitation as that one swept away for 4 runs down to fine leg, and it arrived at on the full. And Norgrove looks a pretty useful acquisition for Sussex this week. Last week signing Rachel King was top scorer. Looks as though Norgrove, this week's loanee, could be like that as well. She's skied that one over long off and she's getting away with it. She's doing more than that. She's getting a first bounce for, as she is tucking in to the leg spin of Poppy Walker. I mean, we saw earlier Eve O'Neill bowl some fairly floaty leg breaks with great success, but Walker is taking a bit of stick at the moment.
But we've also seen bowlers bowl expensive overs with wickets in them, so she'd happily spend 8 runs to get Norgrove out.
Full toss again. Swung away to deep square, just the single.
That boundary took Sussex past 50.
54 for 1, chasing 134, so just 90 to win. And the run rate on the board has overtaken the required run rate. Ahead of the game, Sussex, as well as have 9 wickets in the bank, but there's a stumping as Poppy Walker does succeed in buying the wicket of Nancy Harman. Norgrove had struck a couple of boundaries. Harman's eyes lit up, and it's a second stumping for Georgia Parfitt. And she was quick with the gloves again there, because Harman did turn and get back fairly quickly, but Mr. Daniels had the finger raised at square leg. So Sussex's momentum may be interrupted, but you suspect as long as Norgrove is at the wicket, they'll be favourites for this one.
It's very impressive wicket keeping, really quick hands that from Georgia Parfitt, and yeah, it's exactly what you said with Nancy Harman there. I think she probably saw Abby Norgrove play those shots and thought, I'm going to have some of that, and unfortunately for her and Sussex's perspective, she misjudged it. And really good bowling, actually, to be fair, from Walker. So she wasn't afraid after the couple of boundaries to still take it on, and she's got that crucial wicket.
Last ball of the over then is poked away on the leg side by Ciara Green for a single. Both sides being led by experienced campaigners, Ciara Green for Sussex and Lauren Parfitt for Glamorgan. So it's 55 for 2 after 8 overs, 10 runs, but a top order wicket bought really by the young leggy Poppy Walker.
So from the C end, Phillips is going to continue, and Ciara Green, the Sussex skipper, will be facing. Took a single off her first ball at the end of the over. In comes Phillips, bowls to Green. Green cautiously prods that back up the pitch, where Phillips fields off her own bowling. Just clicking round to 2 o'clock now, and the next 45 minutes or so will be incredibly interesting to see which way this match will go. This one is outside the off stump, short and cut away by Ciara Green. That'll go all the way to the fence for 4 in front of the Spenkama Pavilion, and a boundary for Sussex and for Ciara Green, their skipper.
Apologies to YouTube viewers, getting a few bleeps and bits and pieces. It's having a few technical problems with the BBC feed once more.
May affect the men's match as well when we're due to be on Sports Extra, but we'll see what happens. That one tossed up and not connected with by Green, just squirted away, and the wicketkeeper gathers no run. So you're still with us on the YouTube stream, of course. As Phillips comes in and bowls full toss, dispatched. Is it going to be caught? No, it's just going to land in front of the fielder, Jeans, who had come round from long on. So a bit of a let off for Green, who wouldn't have known where that one was going to end up.
Yeah, she'd have kicked herself getting out to that one, which is a juicy full toss, but it was reasonably high, so she got underneath it a bit.
So
it was that high, was it?
So it was above chest, waist high, so we're going to have a free hit as well.
Oh, hello.
So see where this one ends up as Phillips comes into bowl. Green thought about advancing down the pitch, but that's a good ball from Phillips, and she just can only play it up the pitch, and there's no run, so no damage done from the free hit. I will just try the dial up for the BBC stream again, which is why you may be hearing some bleeps. This one drilled back to Phillips, and there's no run. No such luck on the stream, so we will on the BBC audio, so I will investigate that after the match. But driven this one by Green, she's picked the gap, and that will go out to deep extra cover, where there is a single. That's Norgrove, isn't it? Sorry, yes, because Green took the single when she was played that lofted shot, beg your pardon. So Norgrove 36 from 29. She keeps the strike at the end of that over. 62 for 2 the Sharks at the end of the 9th, are still ahead of the game, but with those 2 wickets down, Glamorgan will still feel they are very much in this.
So wickets the key for both sides really now. If Sussex do have wickets in hand, then they're surely going to win this match, since they're ahead of the run rate, just 2 down at the moment. As we're going to see Poppy Walker again, and low full toss driven through the offsides, and Norgrove will pick up another boundary here, and she is the star of the show as far as Sussex are concerned. And while Walker does have the wicket of Nancy Harman to her credit, she's certainly getting spanked round by Abby Norgrove, the England under-19s captain. 66 for 2 as Walker bowls, and Norgrove on the back foot punches it through the offside. Single taken, No, they'll think about coming back for 2, and that's a good strong running there from Kiara Green, who really made her mind up to get back to the non-strikers end, and certainly got there. 68 for 2. So Walker tossing the ball from one hand to another, and there's an appeal for LBW and an appeal for caught behind. Now one of them's been given, and Norgrove has to go for 42. Walker gets her wicket. Excellent innings from Abby Norgrove at the top of the order, but it's 68 for 3, and this game is back in the balance. I think that's been given caught behind off the glove at first viewing of the replay.
I think it might be. I mean, it looked close for LBW if it didn't hit glove or bat, but then a good catch from Parfitt, and low down. The umpire waited, and actually, to be fair, they didn't really entertain the LBW appeal, which I think the bowler first went up for. Yeah, he turned to face the umpire, but the finger only went up once the ball was caught, so I think it was a catch, and Norgrove has to go. 42 is the unlucky number of the day. That's the third batter to be dismissed for 42 this afternoon.
The meaning of life for the universe and cricket.
R.I.P. Douglas Adams. 68 for 3, Sussex Sharks.
Indeed. New batter Molly Adams in at 5, the teenage wicketkeeper from Hampshire Academy originally. Oh, that's hit her low as she was on the back foot there, and there's a bit of excitement initially, but umpire Alcock saying no. So the game suddenly becomes more tense. 68 for 3. Walker bowls and steered away on the offside. Adams gets off the mark with a single out towards deep cover. 69 for 3. And this the last ball of the first half of the innings. Green faces up to Walker, and just back of a length, and she's able to push it comfortably through the leg side for a single. So at the halfway mark here on the Sussex County Cricket Club YouTube and website, Sussex are 70 for 3, chasing 134 to beat Glamorgan, so they're ahead of the run rate, but they have lost their top order batters. Collis and Harmon for 9 apiece, and Norgrove for that well struck 42. So will her dismissal mark some sort of a turning point in this match?
Could well do. 64 needed from 60 balls, 7 wickets in hand, 70 for 3 at the halfway mark. It is going to be a very close finish, and you'll be watching it and hearing it on the Sussex live stream, but you won't be able to get it on the BBC at the moment because our gremlins have reappeared on that front. Burke now coming into bowl from the C end, flicked away to deep backward square by Green. That'll be a single. Moves her on to 8. Sussex 71 for 3. At the end of this over, I shall be looking at the issue next door again, but for now,
a career in technology as well as commentary.
Absolutely. Wind getting up again. Those clothes are really going to be dry in those flats. Been battering about like a good one there. In comes Burke, slower one which is driven for no run. Again, don't need to be in full radio commentary mode with just the online viewers watching. Got to remember that now. Burke That's down leg side for a wide, so can't afford too many extras when you're bowling in this format, because it just makes you've got to bowl that ball again. It's another run. Soon mounts up. The extras, 3 of them so far. As Adams faces, and that's going to be a wide outside the off stump this time. So Burke, back-to-back wides, and that one won't be.
That was close though, still way outside off stump.
It was within the blue lines, and also she was stretching for it as well. So
yeah, Emily Burke's taken wickets in every 20, or at least a wicket in every 2020 match she's bowled. She's got the wicket of Collis in this one.
That one will beat the wicket keeper. We'll have to wait and see whether that's byes or wides. It's going to run up the hill. Is it going to go all the way to the boundary? It is. And actually, has it come off the bat?
Bottom edge, maybe. Just a little tickle past the keeper.
Yeah, it's given us runs. Let's have a look. Well, I mean, it would have been a wide. It's the toe end of the bat, and that's what's taken it past the wicket keeper. To be fair, she'd have gathered it otherwise. So yeah, toe end, bottom end.
But technically, I suppose that's a drop chance for Georgia Parfitt, but I don't think we can hold it against her since she's been brilliant so far.
I don't think so at all. This one is wide as well, and steered out by Adams, and another boundary in front of the Spain Karma Pavilion. The people in that area of the ground are delighted to see that come their way. Most of them, of course, Sussex fans. Be interesting to know actually how many Glamorgan fans there might be in. Count the legs and divide by 2. As Georgia Adams, back-to-back boundaries, drives this one out into the offside. That will be fielded by the boundary rider at deep extra cover, and that moves her on to 10. Sussex on to 82 for 3 at the end of the 11th. So a big over that for Sussex, and they are well ahead of the worm, as you can see on your screen.
Yeah, that worm keeps wiggling upwards for the light blue of Sussex compared to the dark blue of Glamorgan. And 52 now to win off 9. It's gone under a runner ball, and Glamorgan, I suspect, will be forced to look for a sixth bowler rather, because Emily Burke's 2 overs have been pretty expensive. 1 for 25. This one is tucked away on the leg side from Poppy Walker, and it's a single. 83 for 3. Molly Adams moves on to 11, and needs the experience really of Kiara Green to hold together the back half of this innings, you feel. That'll be a wide down leg side. Next delivery, outside off, and cut away from Green. Single, fielded in the deep. And Lauren Parfitt must be desperately considering her options to decide who's the 6th bowler, you would have thought. Maybe Lydia Clements. As Adams takes another single. Out to cover. Down leg side, free hit, really wide called again. That's the trouble for the leg spinner. Often looking to pitch somewhere around leg stump, and if you get it slightly wrong or you don't get that sort of turn, and you're vulnerable. This time Green just knocking it gently as far as cover. Placed through the gap neatly by Kiara Green. Single out to cover. Throw not doing Georgia Parfitt any favours on that occasion. So Walker with a couple of wickets. Glamorgan need to keep chipping away. Sussex. Oh, there she's got one as Molly Adams chops it onto her stumps, and Poppy Walker has 3. And Molly Adams, who made a promising start, moved on to 12 pretty quickly, but that's a real big off break from Poppy Walker. Bowls a lot of leg breaks, and that one went the other way. Bit of turn and bounce, and it really surprised Adams. Chopped it onto her stumps and looking quite bemused with the whole thing. So 88 for 4.
Sussex not making this run chase easy for themselves. 46 from 48 needed. That's 6 wickets in hand. You would not want to call this one, would you? I mean, we literally are calling it, but you know what I mean.
It's still just under a run a ball, and with this many wickets in hand, you would bank on the batting side, but given that some of these players are new to this level, don't have the experience of seeing home a run chase.
You can see on the screen there we've just gone, but the worm has slightly turned, as it were, as this one is down the leg side from Burke, and it will be another wide, so that will just help Sussex a little bit. You can hear Glamorgan voices in the field. Who's that at extra cover who's doing a lot of the talking there? Would that be Nick, do we know? This one struck on the pad, big shout, it was full, right on the toe I dare say, but outside the line possibly.
Yeah, Sarah Phillips making a useful return to the attack and giving that one
down the leg side, yeah.
A bit of air, but I think that would have turned down leg side.
That one tempted Hoik, but nothing on it. I can learn again to watch the even I'm watching the actual live action in front of me, but of course I can watch the directly behind the umpire on the screen in front of me, so might be a better option at the moment. This one inside edge, was it? No, wide actually, so nothing on it, and they've come through for a single as well, so that was a slightly odd one. Let's have a look here. Is it? It's definitely outside. Yeah, and it's hit the wicket keeper, and that's why it's squirted out onto the leg side. Just taking guard. Wesley hasn't faced yet. What does she want, middle of the leg? Scratches away at it, the number 33 on her back. Cut off incidentally is 2:44, as this one is played up the pitch. A couple of attempted stops before it's eventually halted in its tracks. So the fielders out on the rope are at square leg, deep mid wicket, long on and deep extra cover, and long on Jeans is going to have to be called into action to pick that one up. And
this is sensible from Sussex though, chasing a runner ball. They've got a couple of wides in this over, they can afford to knock it round a little bit.
Don't want to leave yourself too much in the closing stages though, when the pressure is really on. Big shout, LBW! Kiara Green, the captain, goes. Phillips strikes her first wicket of the match, and Sussex lose another, and the tilt goes in the direction of the visiting side with 5 down at 92. And that one, she just missed, dead in front. Simple decision for the umpire. Sussex losing wickets like Glamorgan did in clusters. And now, Nick Webb, I'd make the visitors' favourites.
Yeah, it's tilted back certainly towards 50-50 at least, as that one pitched on about off stump, hits Kiara Green pretty low, and as long as it didn't turn too much, the umpire's decision, Mr. Daniels, was a relatively simple one. So Indigo Gentry back in the side for this match, having missed the last one. Made 12 in her last innings, the Londoner.
So, extra fielder up inside the circle. I don't think they've dropped anybody back.
Glamorgan looking to put the pressure on. That's flat from Phillips and just knocked away on the leg side.
That fielder came from long on. It was Jeans coming up to mid on, but I don't think they dropped anybody back, so they are trying to apply the squeeze. 25 minutes to get through to the beginning of the final over. So what have we had?
Very worried about these.
No, I'm just interested. I'm just interested. We had to. There was a Somerset needed a man up inside, the extra man up inside the circle on Friday night. They had a problem with their cut-off. Ah, well, that's the man's game for you. Yeah.
They tend to take a bit longer to go about things with longer average runs. Probably more spin bowled on average in the women's game.
6 overs to get through. So.
Run a ball, exactly. It's down to now, and
or up to really, because they were.
Yeah,
they were. This is just tilting.
So Poppy Walker has been turning them both ways and bamboozled Molly Adams in her last over.
3 wickets.
3 for 24 with 1 over to go, as that's a false start. So 2 new batters. Jazz Wesley is the one on strike. And Walker bowls, and let's cut into the offside for a single. 93 for 5. Who will hold their nerves in the pressure of these closing overs.
The crucible of action now in the middle. And the pressure is on, and 2 new batters at the crease, of course. I mean, they've barely faced a ball between them, so.
Gentry not called upon with the ball, but pressure on her with the bats now. Down the wicket, swing and miss, and a stumping. A 3rd for Georgia Parfitt, and the tempting spin of young Poppy Walker is having Sussex in a spin at the moment. And they are 93 for 6.
And still yet, the worm turns towards Glamorgan. Went for a big heave. There was a good bit of turn there, which took it away from the bat, and another stumping. So, the Sharks wobbling rather than circling. If Sharks do wobble at any stage.
I'm not going to investigate them closely enough.
No.
The marine variety, that is.
Probably wise.
To see if they wobble or not, to be honest. Who knows what's happening out in the sea behind us, a couple of 100 metres down the road. We can only concentrate on what's in front of us. 93 for 6, and the light blue worm of Sussex is drooping towards the dark blue worm of Glamorgan. As
it's the Welsh dragon that is roaring instead.
Talitha Stanley is the new batter in at 8. Out for 6 in the defeat against Middlesex, not required to contribute. She's the left-hander, and the first ball is pulled away nicely, but picked up in the deep by Tulloch. Just the single. 94 for 6. This is the first left-hander we've had in the action batting.
I think so, yes.
Glamorgan are certainly all right-handers in their playing squad. Walker giving it air, knocked away by Wesley, and she'll get more than one here. She may get 4 as she's beaten short fine leg, who is up in the circle and just turned neatly around the corner in the end by Jazz Wesley.
It's quite funny, the crowd had the inkling that might be 4 from the word go. They started to applaud when it left the bat, but it wasn't one of those that was, had a lot of pace to it, and it might have been that the fielder had hauled it in, but it was almost like they thought, nah, that's coming our way.
Needed the slope, and Sussex needed that boundary. 98 for 6. Wesley beaten outside off stump.
It's back to below a runner ball just narrowly. And the picture psychologically may look better for Sussex when they get past 100.
Always feel you're entering the final straight. Walker, though, has more than done her bit as that one's drifted down leg side. And wide is called. 99 for 6. So she's getting a lot of turn both ways at the moment, Poppy Walker.
Excellent figures.
And that one's dragged round from outside off stump from Wesley. Single 100 is up for Sussex. The last ball of the 14th over. So 8 runs coming off that, but another wicket as well. And Walker finishes with 4 for 31 off her 4 overs.
Yeah, excellent stuff from Poppy Walker. 8 dots involved in that as well. So the worm on the YouTube stream is slightly tilted in Sussex's favour, but you can see a little bit of an acceleration from Glamorgan. It's all very tight. We said it would be. We said it would be, Nick. And we did say as well that even when Sussex were motoring, if wickets could be taken, that would check their progress, and that's been the case. Now Phillips 1 for 15 comes in high, and now LBW. Well, now Wesley is not happy, but she has bought that wicket because that was not a great delivery. It has to be said. Wesley the bowler looks surprised. The batter looks surprised, but I have to say it's going to drop down and hit the stumps. I think that one very similar to one that Graham Swan took once in the Ashes at home against Chris Rogers, I think, where he managed to get a full toss hit. That was even, actually, I think the Graham Swan one was even worse because that came out of the hand all wrong, and it dropped down from a great height, and I think was shown actually to be going over the stumps. But this one I think would have dropped down onto the top of the stumps. Remarkable dismissal, but even so a dismissal nonetheless, and that has rocked Sussex Sharks because that has put them on the back foot once again at 100 for 7.
That's a horrible, horrible way to get out. A ball that should have been dispatched towards the ropes, and Porter having a word and a laugh with umpire Daniels, and well she might, because she's got away with one there, and Sussex are crumbling rather, who will stand up in this lower order for the hosts.
Yeah, it's young Eve O'Neill who's come to the crease now, and this one has spun back in and beaten her on. The screw is being tightened here. Porter with that wicket now bowling to O'Neill. You can hear the wind on our effects mic as this one, good stop. Glamorgan will be delighted with this. In their colours, well, I know you can see it on the screen, but if you were listening on the radio, I'd probably describe them as Wycombe Wanderers writ large in front of us, as this one is played up towards long on.
Apparently it's meant to be a design based around the counties of Wales, but if you're seeing anything resembling a map of Wales in those shirts, then you've got better eyesight than I have.
Like a magic eye puzzle. These sports kit manufacturers and boot manufacturers always come out with a load of waffle, don't they? It's like they're like wine tasting. Some of the kit stuff they come out, they're like wine tasting notes. You know, this kit is delivered with notes of jasmine and This one driven up to mid-off for no run.
The notes of Jasmine disappeared in the earlier in the over, didn't
Hey.
they, Jazz Wesley?
Well, so Porter 1 for 7, 11 dots, excellent from her. Took the wicket of Wesley earlier. This one played into the onside. They're going to take one. They're going to think about the second, but no. Once again, 3 fielders wanting to converge around the ball just to help each other out. End of the 15th, 102 for 7, 32 off of 30 now, so above a runner ball for the first time in a little while, if indeed at all during this innings. I'm not sure, but and now that worm doesn't really know what to do with itself.
It's a worm in a muddle. So Sussex just short of wickets at this stage of proceedings, really. As of course Walker having bowled out, a bowling change is necessitated, and that's Sussex card dominated by Abby Norgrove, the loanee, who did well at the top of the order with the game's magic score. But we've had one knock of 42 for Sussex and 2 for Glamorgan, as Burke, who's been rather expensive, will come back into the attack, and she'll have to get her radar right pretty quickly if Sussex aren't to be allowed a chance to accelerate again. So it's 32 off 5 with 3 wickets in hand.
I think it's fair to say the wicket of Abby Norgrove is probably the crucial one, because I think was it 68 for 3 at that point, and Glamorgan have been taking wickets regularly ever since.
But bowls, and Stanley on the defensive. Morgan's infielders, couple just creeping in a little bit at mid-wicket, and cover in particular is well inside the circle.
They've got 4 out again now, haven't they? So long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg, and 1 at point.
As well, that was a bit of a mess from Talitha Stanley. She went, I think, for some sort of reverse, and it wasn't taken by Parfit. The fact that she went for the reverse probably mitigated against her getting a wide.
Yes.
Looking at the replay, it's gone past leg stump, but
can't give a
given.
wide of that.
Tries it again and misses again. Well,
These are balls being eaten up here, aren't they? I mean, that shot is used obviously to find a gap behind the wicketkeeper, but there are other gaps in the field that she could try to find, I think. It's particularly, there's a wide open space. Well, there won't be actually in a minute, will there? Because that fielder's just turning the ball.
Fine leg has been brought back towards the boundary. Lydia Clements, the solicitor in the Glamorgan ranks. As in comes Burke. And that one will be called wide. In fact, it'll be 2 runs because Parfit couldn't take it cleanly behind the stumps. And so a bit of a Brucey bonus for the home side after 3 dot balls. 2 off that delivery. 104 for 7, 30 to win, 4.3 overs. All sorts of pointing and gesticulating from captain and bowler. Lauren Parfit might be bringing a few aircraft into land, the amount of waving she's doing at the moment.
England playing in another T20 against the West Indies at Bristol. They've taken a wicket with the very first ball of the match. And
another dot ball chewed up by Sussex. Well, they haven't got anything off the bat in this over. This time it's 17-year-old Eve O'Neill who fails to make contact.
This will be frustrating from the Sharks' perspective. They will need to find the boundaries at some point.
That's wide-ish outside off stump, but umpire Alcock saying no, you can't have a wide for that. as O'Neill
Nope.
tried to slash it away through the offside.
Inside those blue lines. Good white ball bowling.
Yes, good comeback from Burke for Glamorgan, because the first couple of overs were pretty expensive. That is hit away up towards long on. They'll look for a second and decide against it, and bit of a groan from the crowd there.
I think there might have been a second there.
Just
Put the
3 off
fielder
the over.
Put the fielder under pressure. You've got to try and at least take the gamble, haven't you, at this stage? 4 overs to bowl. It's looking very much like Glamorgan's game at the moment.
Well, Sussex lost wickets in the 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th, and that sort of collapse is always going to leave you struggling at the lower end, but Sarah Phillips, what can they do against her? Bowling her final over, 1 for 15 at the moment.
28 required for 29 required for Sussex. This one will be forced away and single taken. Every run crucial. So if you're a Glamorgan fan, you won't be necessarily sitting comfortably in your seat, but certainly you'll be the happier of the two sides at the moment. 28 needed off at 23 with 3 wickets in hand. 106 for 7, the Sharks.
Need some boundaries or some really hard running for twos, don't they, at the moment? The ones are not going to be enough.
At the moment, it's just a struggle for these two to get bat on ball. Stanley and O'Neill, lower order batters, trying to find a way through. This time, that little paddle does come off. It's going to go up the hill. Will it find the boundary rope? It won't, but a good shot nonetheless. And there's a couple of runs to the total. 26 required off of 22.
Yes, anything of 2 or more is in Sussex's favour. Singles in Glamorgan's favour at the moment.
If you can hear that beeping, I was just trying to redial the BBC stream to see if I can get them coverage of this run chase, but this one forced back up the pitch for no run. Nothing doing at the moment, so we're sticking with the YouTube stream at the moment. 108 for 7. Glamorgan in control, and bowling with control. That will again find the fielder on the fence, so single, no more than that. Glamorgan will take that. What do you reckon Glamorgan will be happy with if they haven't bowled Sussex out by then? What do you reckon Glamorgan will be happy with an over to go?
They want to be defending at least 10, you would have thought, if Sussex have got more than 1 wicket in hand, I'd say.
There we are, wind getting up around our effects mic again, the flag flying away as well. That again will be a dot. 25 from 19. Good bowling there, so they've tried their little reverse shot again, but
Reverses are coming out rather more frequently than necessary, I think, from Sussex at the moment.
interesting, they brought a short third man in. I just feel like that's discouraging, that shot, and that shot is the one that's costing Sussex, if you like. Mind you, it's almost found that fielder. They're going to go for the quick single, and they're home. So I understand the idea that if they do connect with that shot and they wanted to play it, that having someone there is, and I know it's paid off there, I suppose, it stopped possibly 1 or 2 runs, but yeah, I just feel like leaving that gap actually is encouraging to try it, and it's not coming off, so why not leave it there, would be my thought, but I'm not a captain, so I don't know. Anyway, the worm is very close still.
Phillips finishes with 1 for 20 off her 4. Sussex light blue worm, of course, of their progress through the 20 overs, falling away slightly. Is there someone ready to stand up for Sussex in these closing 3 overs with 24 runs needed to win? A wide is given to Sussex from the first ball of the over. from Burke, bowling her final over. Started ropily, pulled it back with a good third over. As that's hammered up towards long on, it will be fielded on the boundary though, and it'll be just a single for Eve O'Neill.
Sussex fans may be interested to know that England Lions against India A, England Lions 281 for 9 in reply to India A's 348, but Tom Haines made a half century in that one, 54, following on from his century in the first match. So he's made some good runs against a good India A team. That might put him in discussions for further honours later in the summer. Incidentally,
Sussex women's next match here is against Kent in a couple of weeks' time, Sunday the 22nd. As Stanley, she's missed out there, and there could be a run out anyway, and
the throw wasn't.
O'Neill gets back. Well, that one not timed by Talitha Stanley as she looked to get the big shot to a short pitch ball. It was down leg side and just got the toe on it. Swing and a miss from Talitha Stanley, and Sussex are falling away rather in these closing overs. There's a little hint of desperation. It's not beyond them. A couple of boundaries would very much turn the game back the home side's way, but they're finding them difficult to come by at the moment. That is not timed. It should be caught. It is caught, and Stanley holds out at mid-on, and Sussex lose their 8th wicket with a total of 112 and 22 needed off the last couple of wickets, as Stanley knew what had to be done but couldn't quite execute it. Just lobbed a comfortable catch towards mid-on.
That may well prove to be the beginning of the end for Sussex Sharks in this match, and Glamorgan homing in on victory, which would mark their 2nd victory over Sussex this season. Burke with 2 balls to bowl has figures of 2 for 30, and Curling walks out to the crease now. Lottie Curling.
Playing her first innings in the 3rd match of the comp, so let's hope she's been assiduous in the nets.
Yes,
unable to make contact there with a big swing on the leg side, and the dots are being joined up by Glamorgan. 13 balls left and still 22 runs to win, and a lot of pressure on Lottie Curling, number 10, and the teenager Eve O'Neill at the other end. And again, Curling unable to make the most of a shortish ball that could have been there for a bigger shot at this stage of the game, and all of a sudden it's 22 needed off 2 for Sussex, and that looks a tall order.
It really does, and you'd say if there was still a recognised batter, you know, at the crease, that and a set one at that Sussex might still have a chance, but it's proving very difficult, particularly with Glamorgan having to, of course, have or can have 4 on the rope. And good example there that, you know, a good decent shot but found the fielder, so only 1 when they need to deal in 4s really. Sussex can't afford to die wondering. They've got to go after the bowling and risk this game being over in 2 balls rather than. But when the bowling is as good as this from Porter, very tricky. I mean, 1 for 9 off a 3.2. Funny enough, we talked about the cut-off. She's running back to her mark now, and that is to get through this over. And there is another wicket. So bowled, may not matter in the end. She does need to get through this over in 2 minutes, otherwise there will be a fielder up inside the circle. But that one means that Sussex are 9 down.
Yeah, the Sharks' innings is going nowhere at the moment, isn't it? They've fallen away against some largely accurate bowling, but you get the feeling it's the sort of pressure situation where standards will improve as players get more used and more comfortable to playing at this standard in front of healthy crowds and against good standards of opposition as well.
Let's see what Anna Buckle can do at number 11. Of course, the other thing as well, I mean, the bowling is excellent, Nick, to be fair. That's the other thing as well, is that they're being given no quarter to do anything with it. And that one's played out into the cover region. And I tell you what, Nick, with 9 down, I shall let you take over here to see Glamorgan home.
Porter bowls, reverse sweep will bring just a scampered single for Anna Buckle to get her account underway on her seasonal debut. Took a couple of important wickets to check Glamorgan's progress. Porter in, lofted away on the leg side, but not able to split the fielders. Will they come back for 2? They might have to try, and this could be a run out. No, the throw not quite accurate enough to enable Gemma Porter to whip off the bails.
There you go, look at the movement in the outfield. They've got to get this over started. I think they'll be all right.
So a couple to O'Neill.
Yep, dead on the cut-off. There you go.
Makes it 116 for 9. Yeah, I don't think
I mean, they may not...
even an extra fielder might not make much difference.
No, they may not even want 4 fielders out, to be fair. What have they got? If they've only got 2... no, they have got 4 out. And the umpire's looking at the scoreboard, then looking around. They're happy, I think. Yep, they're happy. So Tulloch with this one.
So Poppy Tulloch with the final over of the match. Swing and a miss and a leg by and shy at the wicket. All happening.
She obviously wasn't close enough to the stumps to gather it in herself, and she got out of the way of the ball to stop it obviously getting in the way of the stumps, but it was we're right behind it, to be fair, so she wouldn't necessarily known that it was going wide of the stumps.
Yeah, I think with a player backing up, you can afford to leave it and hope for a direct hit if you're not near enough. Single taken. Still 17 needed off 5 balls. A tall order for Sussex's lower order, but that could be 4 of them. It's gone down leg side. It's raced away for 4 byes.
Ooh.
And that'll revive Sussex's hopes.
Yeah, it's beaten the bat, hasn't it, and gone past the wicketkeeper, so it can't be wides.
It's come off someone's leg. I thought it might have been the batter.
Well, it's been given as byes, but because it was played through, it was beaten the shot, if you like, it can't be given as wides. Almost took the leg stump out.
Eve O'Neill then on strike, looking to swing hard. 121 for 9, 13 to win. 4 balls left. There'll be no more than a single there, as it's well stopped at cover. Single to O'Neill, and down to your number 11 Buckle to hit 3 4s or better. So
just a simple equation, really, isn't it? Get your number 11 to hit 3 4s.
Indeed.
If she does it, she'll be carted off the pitch.
Well, she's tried a reverse ramp, and now it's 2 6s.
Well, that's even better, isn't it, if you like? Why not? Why wait for the 3 4s? The 3 4s are dull. 2 6s. That's what it's all about.
Swing hard, Anna Buckle. Keep your nerve, Poppy Tulloch. Keep her standing back. Seam bowler in action. Tulloch in. Bowls wide, outside, off stump. Oh well, 4 and a 6 to tie.
And then what happens?
Shared the points. So 123 for 9. The Sussex chase that was going pretty well when Abby Norgrove was at the wicket, but she was out with a score on 68 in the 10th, and it's never quite recovered. This
Hello.
one is skied over the offside, and they'll get 4 runs, and Sussex keep fighting to the final ball of this match. It's 127 for 9, and it's 6 to tie.
6 to tie. Can you imagine? All she needs to do is strike that a bit harder, and we got ourselves shaking hands on a tie.
Last ball of the match. Sussex need their first 6 of the match. Buckle swings through the leg side, but will only pick up a single, as she didn't quite get hold of it, and Glamorgan have closed it out, and it is defeat for Sussex Sharks. Glamorgan win by 5 runs. Sussex end on 128 for 9. And really a match that's been a credit to the competition. It's swung back and forth, it's been competitive right until the end, and it is Glamorgan who end up victors by 5 runs. 133 for 8, plays 128 for 9. A decent effort from Sussex, but it wasn't quite enough. So Abby Norgrove's 42 was the top score by some way for Sussex. Apart from that, the players in double figures, just Ciara Green with 10, Molly Adams with 12. Eve O'Neill finished on 9 not out at the end. And Glamorgan's bowlers 4 for 32 for Poppy Walker. Very tight spell from Gemma Porter, 2 for 12. Emily Burke, a couple of important wickets as well, 2 for 30. Sarah Phillips, 1 for 20, the other wicket taker. And Tulloch finished with 0 for 30, but she did enough in the final over to prevent Sussex from pulling off what at that stage would have been an unlikely victory. So thank you very much indeed for joining us here on the Sussex Cricket YouTube channel and website this afternoon, and we will be back with the men's action from 4 o'clock, but in the women's game it's victory for Glamorgan over Sussex Sharks by 5 runs.